Hey, what's going on, folks? This is Ruben again with Blueprints. I had a very interesting exchange with a young man today at Lowe's, right? When I was doing some shopping. I made a quick TikTok video about it. But I think the TikTok video just scratched the surface on what I really wanted to share with you guys. So I'm going to make a longer video and kind of address what was at the heart of what I believe I witnessed today at the hardware store. So like I said in the TikTok video, I'm walking up and down the aisles looking at different things, Christmas lights and what I need to get to decorate my home. Justin's all over the place enjoying himself, and there's this guy I see down the aisle, and I recognize him, but it's like, okay, I don't know from where, and I'm sort of an introvert, so I don't really want to go up to him. I keep on going, but this guy found his way back to me, and he was, hey, Ruben, is this you, man? Is you Mr. Constante from the cow unit? For those of you who don't know, I used to work at the cow unit as a substance abuse counselor. I was there for about 2 years. Taught blueprints, drug curriculum, counseling, mentor, like everything. It was a great opportunity. Thank God for it. So, yeah, it's me, man. It's me, Ruben. What's going on? You're from Kyle, right? Yeah, I'm from Kyle, man. He's talking, and he mentioned that he had just recently got out 2 weeks ago. And I started thinking, 2 weeks ago, dude, you were in my class about 2 years ago. And he confessed that he got out and did pretty good and fell off. Went to a bar, started doing his thing, and, went back ISF or SAP or something. And as I'm talking to him, I'm kind of thinking back to all the men, and if you're listening to this video, you might be one of these men that I'm talking about. People who get out and for some way, for some reason, somehow, some way, they lose focus, right? They forget what God saved them from. Now, granted, this isn't an indictment, because I myself have been guilty of forgetting what God saved me from and what He saved me to. It's just by the grace of God I didn't go to prison and violate and do all that crazy stuff. But here's my point. When I was talking to this guy, I was thinking about every single face, every client, every person I counseled, every man who got out and fell off and went back, came out, and maybe they're back involved in criminal activities and lifestyles and drug and alcohol abuse and whatever. I began to think, why is it that we can go to jail, go to prison, and I'm being rhetorical here, don't get smart, because we know the answer, but I'm being rhetorical. Why is it that we can go to jail, go to prison, get the God thing going, get the Jesus thing going, and be coordinators and be preachers and teachers and all these cool things, and then we get out and we smoke it? I think every single one of us has been guilty of that. And I've concluded this, among other things, I think that there is a degree of autonomy in our minds that convinces us that, okay, God did this much for me, and I think, okay, God, I got it from here. I don't think I need you anymore. I mean, it's not that I don't need you, God, but I got it, all right? Like, I can get off the training wheels, so to speak, and we start riding our bike and doing our thing and then fall. So it's that autonomy. And it reminds me in the scriptures where Moses is telling the people, I think it's Deuteronomy chapter 6, 7 or 8, somewhere along there. He tells them, hey, be careful when you get into the land that's flowing with milk and honey. When you get into the promised land, be careful that you don't get too arrogant, too cocky. I'm paraphrasing, of course. You know what I'm talking about. Go look it up. He tells them, be careful that you don't think that it is with your hands that you've got these houses and this land and these blessings. It's God that did that for you. And I think we're like that. I think we get to a point where in our Christian walk, post-incarceration, we forget that it was God who saved us. We forget that it was God who took us through. We forget that it was God who split these Red Sea situations. We forget that it was God. And we get fancy out here, man. We've got clothes, we've got cars, we've got jobs, we've got opportunities. God is opening all these kind of cool doors, and we're good. Whether or not we're on paper isn't even the point. We're good. And we forget that the whole time it was God. Suddenly, God isn't as important. Now, we might not confess that. We might not admit it, but our actions prove it. Because, of course, we know a tree is known by its fruit. If I'm not praying anymore, reading the Bible, if I'm not doing anything that I used to do when I was walking close with God, if I'm not doing those things anymore, then I'm saying very clearly, it's just my opinion, I might be wrong, we're saying very clearly, I don't need God as much anymore. Guilty, right? Been there, done that. And then when we with our actions, right? Because we won't give mental assent, much less confess this. With our actions, we tell people, we tell the world, we tell God, I don't really need you anymore. I got it from here. That's when the fall happens. That's when we fall. And as I was talking to this guy earlier, that's what I was thinking. We forget what God saved us from and what He has saved us to. So let me talk about that real quick, because you might be thinking, well, I do know what God saved me from. I've been saved from a life of addiction, alcoholism, drug abuse, gambling, lust, like whatever your vice, whatever your poison was. Like we know intellectually, right? We know what God saved us from, but I think we really don't know what He saved us to. And it's the saving us to part where we start losing focus. We forget what our quote unquote purpose is, right? And to live a glorified, God honoring life where we're reflecting His image and everything that we think, do, and say. So when we forget what we're saved to, it becomes easier to fall back into those mannerisms, those lifestyles, right? And it's subtle. Trust me, it's very, very subtle. I don't think that I don't need God anymore. That's silly. But in my arrogance and in my complacency, I'll do it. I'll start not abiding in the vine as I used to. And it's when I stop abiding in the vine as I used to that my fall becomes that much more inevitable. It's going to happen. So how do we avoid that? It's really, really simple. Number one, let me go back to this guy I saw earlier. Because as he was telling me, I asked him, hey, why do you think you went back, man? And he said, man, I was just at a bar drinking, soda. I was just at a bar drinking soda. And I'm thinking, for the life of me, what are you doing at a bar? So now let me talk to you, right? I'm using this man as an example, this experience that I had today at the hardware store. But let me talk to you. What are you doing hanging out with people? What are you doing surrounding yourself with situations? What are you doing being involved with people, with an environment? Look, I said this a long time ago in my classes at the Kyle unit and at the Dominguez. Can you imagine being in a pool, right? A regular pool. And then you want to get dry. And so you ask someone, hey man, throw me a towel. And they throw you a towel and you start, you might be able to successfully dry your head and your hair, maybe the top, but you're still submerged. You're still in the pool. You're submerged in water. And what happens if you get the water, the towel rather, and you start trying to dry your body that is still in the pool? You're not going to do anything but soak that towel with water. And that's exactly what happens with you and me when we try to clean up our act, but we're still in those situations. We're still in those environments thinking, man, I got this. Ooh, this one's even worse. Thinking, hey, that's my ministry. God called me to that. And you're nowhere near ready to be jumping into a ministry that would expose you to your kryptonite. That would put you in a very compromising situation because you think, man, I got this. I can do this. I'm called to the streets. I'm called to the bars, which is, no, God didn't call you to the bar. But you know what I'm talking about. If you begin to think that you're so intelligent, you're so gifted, you're so charismatic, you're so finessed, you got this, man. That you can go right back into the street and save people for God, it didn't work. Especially if you haven't taken the time to be discipled, you're fresh out of jail, prison, you're fresh. You can't do that. You can't expect to dry your body with a towel if you're still in the pool. And in like manner, you can't expect to successfully live out this Christian life post incarceration, especially thinking that, man, I got this, and you're right back in those situations. You're right back in that hood. You're right back with those people. You're right back with the same family members that got you jacked up. Hey, look, it's the holidays. I'm encouraging you right now, man, get away. Stop it. You don't want to be in a jail cell, especially around this time of the year. Never, right? You don't want to be locked up, period. But especially during this time of the year. I saw this brother today, man, and my heart went out to him. And my heart went out to a lot of other brothers who were out here tripping. And by the grace of God, you aren't locked up again. But you don't test it. Don't play with God. Gentlemen, I'm asking you right now, please, remember what God saved you from, and remember what He saved you to. Whether or not you were my student and my client at the Kyle unit, whatever the situation might be, I'm telling you, please, get off the gas. Get back to where you know you're supposed to be. Get away from that hood. Get away from that woman. Get away from them friends. Get away from that family. I told a lot of people at the Kyle unit, man, the number one thing, even when I was doing volunteer work at Dominguez, not too long ago this year, my number one rule for inmates, protect your freedom. Not reconcile with your family, not get back with your kids. None of that is as important. It's important, but none of that is as important as protecting your freedom. Because if you come out of prison, jail, whatever it is that you were involved in, if you come out here thinking, man, I got to protect my freedom no matter what, that means I can't go there, I can't go here, I can't talk to them. If that's what you're doing, you're going to make it. But you have to remember that it is only because of God that you got saved, that you got out, and that you're alive right now. So let me encourage you as I close. Are you flirting with temptation? Are you still hanging out at the bars? Are you still hanging out with people that you know you're not supposed to be hanging out with? Especially here coming with the holidays. We just passed Thanksgiving and we're fixing to hit Christmas, especially family. Are you going to these family parties where you know there's drugs and alcohol, where you know you got cousins and uncles and people who just, they're going to poke you, they're going to press your buttons or whatever? Look, I'm telling you, I don't go around certain family, because buttons are going to be pressed. And I'm a wiser person for not even coming near these people, because I don't want to go back to what God saved me from, which is a horrible, horrible man. Guys, girls, God bless you. Be safe. Have a happy holiday season, and remember what God saved you from and what He saved you to, and stay away from things that are going to get you in a wreck. God bless you. We'll see you in the next one.